Hey folks, it's Carrie from Pretty Neat. Thanks for joining me. If you're new here to my channel, welcome. I share new videos here every week about organizing and decluttering your home and adopting a minimalist mindset. So I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and stick around. Today I want to tackle a topic that I get asked about a lot, and that is, what do I do if I just feel overwhelmed by getting my house organized? Overwhelm is such a common issue when it comes to clutter, and so I want to address it really specifically today. If it's been a while since you've done any decluttering in your home and things have been accumulating for a long time, maybe even for years, it's very common to feel overwhelmed by this issue. There may just be such a large volume of stuff that needs to be addressed that getting started feels like too daunting a task. So if you're in this situation, what can you do to get started, to feel motivated, and to keep with it long enough to start making a difference in your home? The first thing that I'm going to advise is that you just pick one small area to start with. Rather than looking at your whole home as a whole and feeling like you need to tackle it all at once, just pick one small space. This could be a single drawer in your kitchen. This could be one cabinet. As you go through this process, you are going to need to address all these different spaces, but you really can only do one little space at a time. I would say focus on that one spot and work on it until you feel satisfied with the stuff that you've gotten rid of, that it's been rearranged in a way that's more functional, and only then move on to the next space. If you can just focus on one small area at a time, you don't feel so overwhelmed. You don't feel like you need to tackle a whole house full of stuff. You can just say, right now, I'm just working on this one drawer, I'm working on this one cabinet or one closet, and I'm just going to pretend that this is the only thing I have to think about in terms of organizing. Another related tactic to getting rid of the overwhelm of organizing is focusing just on one decision at a time. We might open up our clothes closet and think, oh my God, there's so many things in here. I don't want to deal with it all. It feels overwhelming. You can really only go through this process item by item, so really try to get in that mindset of just addressing one thing at a time. Instead of that whole closet, take one shirt and make a decision. Do I like this shirt? Does it still fit me? Is this the type of clothing that I want to be wearing right now? Make that one decision and then move on to the next. Another technique that can help if you're feeling overwhelmed by organizing is to start somewhere easy. As you start going through this process, you are going to find that some things are easier to deal with than others. And generally speaking, the things that are sentimental to us, the things that have some kind of emotional weight, those are more difficult to deal with. They're more difficult to make those decisions about because we kind of have to work through all that emotional stuff along with the decision making. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I would say start with things that are easy. Start with things that are not at all sentimental to you. You get better at decluttering the more you do it. So don't start with the hardest things. Don't start with the heirloom china or all the letters that you've kept from every relationship you've ever been in. Start with the stuff that really doesn't mean a lot to you. And that's going to vary person to person. The stuff that's in our kitchen is usually not that sentimental. For some people, clothing is not sentimental at all. And for others, it is. So like I said, this is going to vary person to person. But if you are faced with a large organizing job, maybe your garage or your basement, and you're feeling overwhelmed about where to start, I would pick a place where you can already kind of see a few things that you know you can easily say goodbye to. Start with that pile of stuff first. And like I said, as you make the decisions, you start to build up a little bit of resistance, you get better at it, and it will be easier down the line to tackle the more meaningful and sentimental items. If you're familiar with Marie Kondo, this is essentially the tactic that she uses. She advises everyone to go through their things category by category, and she starts with the least sentimental categories first, and then her very final category of stuff are things like family pictures and mementos and all of that. So I think that's a good way to go about this. Start with the easy stuff first, and you won't feel quite as overwhelmed about having to go through it. Another way to address this feeling of overwhelm when you are organizing is to set some boundaries for yourself. You can do this in a number of ways, but the idea here is that you set some kind of limit on how much stuff you're going to keep. This is just a way that you can give your organizing efforts a little bit of focus. For example, say you have 20 t-shirts and you feel like your t-shirt collection has gotten too big. You might say, I'm just going to choose 10 out of this 20 and keep those. And then you just need to decide which are the 10 that I like the best out of this pile. This basically gives you an end goal that you're working towards rather than just some vague notion of getting organized or getting rid of things. Another way that you can set boundaries with yourself is to let your storage space dictate how much you decide to keep. If you have a large book collection and it's gotten kind of out of control, I would say decide where you're storing these books. Maybe you have a set of bookcases in your home, and let those bookcases dictate how many books you keep. You basically tell yourself, okay, I can only fit a single row of books on each shelf. Once the shelves are full, that's the number of books that I'm going to hang on to. You can apply this idea of letting your storage space dictate how much you keep to really all areas of your home. You can say, we are going to pare down the kitchen gadget drawer to just the number that will fit in here in one single layer so that we can see all of the gadgets and it will be easy to get them in and out. Another tactic that I have used has to do with my clothing. I have a certain number of hangers in my closet, and I use that to give myself a maximum number of pieces that I can hang in there. So if I get new clothes, that means I have to clear off a hanger by getting rid of something to be able to hang those new pieces up. The final tip that I'll share about dealing with overwhelm is to focus on a time frame for your organizing sessions and not so much on the amount of stuff. If you have a big job ahead of you, it can feel like a lot that you need to tackle. But if you just decide you're going to spend 1 hour on Saturday morning dealing with the stuff, then you don't have to think beyond that 1 hour. You really can just work for a period of time and see how much you get done. Everyone does this at a different pace. Some types of items are going to be easier for you to go through than others. So I would say let go of some of those expectations of, oh, I have to get the whole basement done in one weekend, and instead say, I'm going to regularly spend an hour on the basement, maybe once a week. I'm going to get down here and work on this. And then just focus on spending that 1 hour actually going through your things and making those decisions. That, again, is sort of setting a boundary. It alleviates you from thinking about how long it's going to take, how much has to be done all in one big chunk. And instead, you can just think about, I'm spending a limited amount of time. I'm going to get done what I get done, and then I'm going to return to it at a later date, and I'm going to spend some more time. And that is really how you get through it. Just day by day, hour by hour, item by item. So I hope these tips about dealing with overwhelm when you're trying to get organized were helpful. If they were, please hit the like button. It helps my channel out a lot. And don't forget to subscribe. I share new videos here every week about organizing and decluttering your home and adopting a minimalist mindset. Talk to you soon.